See you in the future, very good. Not a scam, go buy some Cardano. Don't want us to ride in the streets. Buy that Bitcoin cryptocurrency. See you in the future, very good. Not a scam, go buy some Cardano. Don't want us to ride in the streets. Buy that Bitcoin cryptocurrency. What's the point of putting your money into it if it's not gonna last? Always ask. There's many competing for world dominance. I believe China has all the cash. Today we're talking about OAVE coin. Today we're talking about Denta coin. Today we're talking about chip chain coin. If you want to know how much blood, see you in the future, very good. Not a scam, go buy some Cardano. Don't want us to ride in the streets. Buy that Bitcoin cryptocurrency. It came up as a scam of some sort. Token that's trying to change the world. One thing I don't think I mentioned, they'd start with good intentions. Today we're talking about Matic coin. Today we're talking about All-Run coin. Today we're talking about Aeon coin. If you want to know how much blood, subscribe. See you in the future, very good. Not a scam, go buy some Cardano. Don't want us to ride in the streets. Buy that Bitcoin cryptocurrency.
See you in the future, very good.
Subscribe.
Not a scam, go buy some Cardano.
Subscribe.
See you in the future, very good.
Subscribe.
Not a scam, go buy some Cardano.
Is this gonna last that 10-year mark? In short time, it came up in the cards. Tracking goods from point A to point B. New cycle with cryptocurrencies. Because it's fairly unknown to the majority of people on the planet Earth. Most people barely know what an Ethereum is. Hi, this is Sacred Bounder, where I do predictions of the future. If you'd like me to do prediction for you, let me know in the comments below. Just a reminder that we do lives here on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. Central, and Saturdays and Sundays at 10 a.m. Central. So make sure you mark down in your calendar, and let's get started for today. Everything you need to know about July. So, getting into July, I think for most of us, that's tomorrow, where it's going to be Canada Day here in Canada. Just wondering if we're allowed to celebrate Canada Day this year. Me and the wife were pondering that today as we were out in the shop getting some more Bitcoin and some Litecoin. So let's have a look at July. So I know all the Americans out there are going to be celebrating their Independence Day on July 4th. And of course, here in Canada, it is July 1st. So let's have a look at July. Now, the health of July, see the idea of July and what July is and how it's going to be playing out in the next month seems to be okay. There's a lot of schemes being uncovered within our governments and stuff, which is
been an ongoing thing for most of the last 2 to 3 months, where all the lies that they've been doing have been brought into the light, which is interesting to watch. Everybody was wondering when the politicians are going to be getting their, what's coming to them. And it's coming in the roundabout way where they're all the baloney that they've been doing is being uncovered and understood as baloney by a good portion of the population. Most of the population is basically still blind to much of the things that are going on around the planet. And this is going to be continuing in July. Of course, with everything going on around the world, we're going to have the right mixture of truth coming out and failures of governments of the world. Okay? So the truths are going to be overcoming the baloney of the government officials and businesses and all that sort of thing that we're trying to do nefarious things against us, and those are going to be failing quite a bit, actually. The money situation around the world in July is going to be not as bad as one would think. Okay, there's going to be a lot of victories in the financial field as politicians around the world have figured out that a lot of the things that they've been doing not that long ago are failing and falling flat on their face. So they're going to be trying to switch those things around. And a lot of companies, I believe, are going to be turning their situations around by stop listening to politicians. And this is true here in Canada. We're seeing a lot of big businesses are going, hey, Justin, you want to stop the bullshit? You know what I'm saying? Or here's a bunch of lawyers to tell you our point of view. So this is happening in an alarming rate. Well, not alarming to me. It's just fantastic to watch all these lawyers start to talk to Mr. Trudeau about what's what. And this is going to be happening more and more. And plus, we got the farmers coming tomorrow in Ottawa to do their thing. I'm surprised Justin Trudeau hasn't gotten the COVID again so he could hide from the farmers coming to Ottawa. They've in Ottawa, they got no parking for miles around the parliament. So none of them farmers' tractors can get too close to the parliament, causing disruptions and all that sort of thing. So I'm not picking up anything nefarious from the government, because doing the same thing that they did with the truckers probably would not have a good look for them, even though the trucker thing didn't have a good look on them in the first place. So I don't think they're going to be chancing that again. Okay. I think people are going to be not looking at the things. This is back to the financial thing in July, not looking at the things that are going to be helping them out the most, and that's buying cryptocurrencies. Okay, something that I've been saying for quite some time is now is the time to get some Bitcoin, some Litecoin, some Ethereum, many of those things. Even now they went down to 24,000 Canadian today. It's a great time to buy. Me and the wife bought a couple Litecoin and a little bit of a Bitcoin today at the Bitcoin store on our, 201 Bond Street, which is here in 401? Yeah. 401 Bond. So if you're ever in Winnipeg, look that up. It's the Winnipeg BTC. You can go and make an appointment and buy some cryptocurrencies from them at a good rate. Okay, so now is the time to be greedy and not focus too much on the things that we're losing. Okay, especially when we go shopping at the store. Okay, rise in price of lettuce, holy smokes, and many of the other products that are on the shelf at the supermarket. It's getting to be where it's very noticeable by the average person. So stop focusing too much on that and preserving your capital and putting it to cryptocurrencies. Not financial advice, of course. I can't do that. I'm not a financial advisor anymore, but it'd probably be advantageous to do so at this moment in time as we go through a new cycle of the world. Okay, so the people that are involved in and around July, it seems that we're going to be finding good fortune in many of the aspects if we stop listening to those experts that are out there and forging our own path forward. Okay, and stop listening to the experts and the politicians and stuff. They do not have your best interest at heart. Okay, just a reminder. Okay, so July will be okay, a couple riots here and there in the United States and stuff. But overall, I think it's going to be good. Get your cryptocurrencies, enjoy the rest of the summer, because when fall comes, I think everything's going to be, that stuff is going to be hitting the fan, if you know what I mean. Okay?
How's gold and silver?
Gold and silver. Oh, gold and silver. Let's throw some cards down for that too. There's a voice from beyond, she says. How's that gold and silver? Those are also good to get into at the moment, as along with the cryptocurrencies. Gold, silver, platinum is going to be a good buy right now. It's not going to be going up anytime soon. Okay, like crypto. All these things have to play out at their own pace. Okay, this is why me and the wife, we always get it, we sit on it, and we don't worry about it. We already know the outcome overall, okay, as all of you do watching this, where cryptocurrencies, gold, silver, platinum, blah, 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 all the great things to get and store your wealth into are going to be doing just fine. Okay, the hardest part is the waiting. Waiting. This is why I always say, get it, sit on it, and focus on other things. Okay, or it's going to drive you batty. Okay. So gold and silver, good buys right now. Most of the cryptocurrencies that are out there, also good buys as well. And you just sit on it, wait, and be patient. Take up knitting. If you're so inclined, like the wife, she loves the crochet. I like doing other things. Doing the YouTube and other platforms keeps me busy as well. So it doesn't give me much time to dwell on most of the negative things that are out there in the world. Yeah, pick up a bit, do a business. Focus your attention on more positive things going forward. Okay? Things that will bring you success in some form, and keep working on that every day. Focus on the more positive things instead of all the negative things that are going on in the world. Learn new skills, okay? Because you may need them in the near future. Help with a garden. Do all kinds of things. Plant a couple extra rows in your garden. Her mom and dad have a nice big garden. Maybe we can get some nice cucumbers and stuff like that at the harvest season, just to help out. Maybe start to look into those things as well. Okay, so anything else for July?
Nope.
Okay. Of course, my birthday's coming up in July too, so. And we'll let you in on things that we're doing at that time. So let's look at Grayscale yesterday is now suing the SEC. All of the people that aren't aware that Grayscale has been putting in ETFs for the last couple of years, okay, to be passed by the SEC in the United States. There are no ETFs in, like, physical ones in the United States. They're here in Canada. I think we got 4 or 5 here in Canada. Europe and many other countries have these. Okay. But not in the United States. And that's, I think we hold too much credibility in the United States to make things go, right? There are other countries in the world that do things, like Canada. So today, I believe it was the last, I think he said Wednesday, that they got the last no from the SEC for the ETF from Grayscale. Now, the Grayscale has said, now we're going to be suing you because you are not being fair and just and not telling the truth. Okay, so let's have a look at the cards on how this is going to be playing out. Okay. That was a long intro for maybe a simple thing to look at, but it was good to give you kind of the background of everything going on. So let's throw out the cards, see what we got on how it's going to go. Hello, Zena Chambers. First time seeing us. Welcome. Okay, a Facebook friend coming in to the chat. Okay, so it seems that the lawsuit, okay, against the SEC, the health of it is going to be a great change in what the SEC has been doing in the last couple of years on denying the ETFs that have been being put forth to the SEC. We're going to see a great change on how they're going to be handling that, because they do not want to be sued in court of law in the United States because they know they will lose. Okay, so they may say something like, well, submit it again and we'll try to pass it again, trying to buy some time and take the major length of time that it takes to review a ETF application, which is about 7 months time. Or I think they're going to be changing their what I'm picking up is they're going to be changing their tune very, very quickly. Okay, because nobody's ever threatened them with the clout of Grayscale and the amount of money that they have as an organization. Also, I believe the money part of this whole situation, I think they're going to be, they're trying to hold back the tide that's going to be of all the people coming into the Bitcoin ETF, physical ETF for Bitcoin, because they do not want all the banks to have a run going into Bitcoin. So taking your money out of the banking system, okay, and putting it to the ETFs with physical Bitcoin return, because I think this will collapse the old banking system. I don't think that would ever happen. It hasn't happened here in Canada or many of the other countries that have physical ETFs already. The world hasn't come to an end here in Canada because we have a physical ETF of Bitcoin. But they're too tied to the situations that do not work, and there's too much nefarious, naughty things going on behind the scenes with the SEC. Okay, that is going to be changing very, very quickly. Okay, and the people that are involved in this whole situation, they're going to be letting loose on the regulations that the SEC has been doing. And that is going to be changing very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. It's probably going to take a few months for everything to do their thing. We always have to wait for everything to do its thing in its own time. I know everybody wants everything now, but that's not the way the world works. So I believe that in the next 2 to 3, even 4 months time, we're going to see changes to the SEC's outlook on ETFs going forward in the United States, okay, for the better. And then putting them to practice is probably going to take a year or so after that, once they stop crying. Okay, so that was the look at the Grayscale versus SEC. Now, somebody was asking about AAVE. I think that's Avalanche. Avalanche is one of the better cryptocurrencies that's out there. Just reading the comments below here. Oh, there's a Dutch farmer protest. We'll get to that in a little bit. We're just going through some of the pre-questions that people had asked before the show. And then we'll get into the chat questions in a very short time here. Okay, AAVE. And this will be for the next year or so for them. It seems that the health of everything in AAVE seems to be doing okay. They're ready to march forward. And a lot of the things that were holding them back are going to be eliminated in the very short order. Of course, we have that Three of Swords, okay? But it's reversed. So Three of Swords is always something coming between you and your goal. And it's been reversed. So they've come up with a way of hard work overcoming that to get over that hurdle that was keeping them from that success. Money-wise, I think they're going to be a little lackluster going through this transition and getting over those hurdles. It's not going to do much for the price of AAVE, but it is going to help them move forward, okay? There's a lot of people that are associated with this, and they're going to be doing a sigh of relief as they've figured out how to get over the hurdles that the system, the people, other people have put in front of them. And they're going to be marching forward beyond that and going into greater and better things going forward. So for the next year, I think it's going to be the price-wise, because everybody looks at the price. It doesn't mean what if it's healthy or not, okay? Because there's other things going on around the planet that affect everything. You have to remember, cryptocurrencies is just a small little part of everything. It's not everything. And because it's so small, it gets batted around with all the bigger things going on around it. Okay, so so the people that are going to be marching forward, they're going to be overturning many of the difficulties that they were having and going forward and surviving into the new year. Okay, but I don't see anything amazing with the price for quite some time. Okay, thank you for that question. Decentralized DEX. Oh, thank you. Avalanche is AVAX. So I guess I was talking about it. There is a cryptocurrency with AAVE. Thank you. Maybe we can get to that Avalanche as well going forward. That is Marco, the Groot, correcting me. Well, thank you. So, decentralized DEX. It seems that health is a lot of these decentralized systems are kind of falling by the wayside for whatever reason. They had this huge spark of activity, and it's kind of been dying down in the last little while for reasons. Um, so the health of many of these projects are kind of going to by the wayside for the next little while. Okay, and this is going to be for the next year. They're going to have a hard time trying to keep their head above water for whatever reason. The financial part, I think they're going to be very lackluster. They're trying to figure out a good way of staying alive with the right mix of things going forward. But it's going to take a long time for them to figure this out. Okay, in the next little while, the people that are associated with this project, there's a lot of hard work. They're a little bit beaten up, and there's a lot of things that are going to be coming to an end very, very soon. Going forward, we got our little friend here, the 10 of Swords, and he looks very comfortable, don't he? So this is basically what's happening with the people that are associated with decentralized DEX is they've been going through a lot of pain, or will be going through a lot of pain. It's something going to be happening in the near future, that they're going to be going through a lot of pain and getting beat up in the process of trying to fix everything within their organization. Survivability, that is a good question. Are they going to survive? Well, I give them another 2 to 3 years at that, and I think a lot of things that they were working on may either go away, okay, or they're going to be meshed with something else to move forward. Okay, so they might have to team up with another group. I think I said this in a past video where this is the point in time where we're going to see a lot of cryptocurrencies go away, okay, or merge with another one to keep surviving, rebrand themselves and go with something, a new plan, okay, or get bought up by some other entity. And I think this is going to be happening with decentralized DEX in the near future. Okay, thank you for that question. Now, unfortunately, I don't see him here today. That's a dark. He usually comes through the show every time, but I don't see him today. But in Canada, we have Bill C11. Now, this is supposed to hinder most YouTube content creators like myself on the amount of people that can see us from other countries or from our own countries in your suggested. Okay, if you know how YouTube works, there's a suggested when you type something in, that's search, and when you're watching a video, suggested video is that stuff on the side. They'll suggesting another video based on the topic you were just researching. Okay, so it's going to be messing up that search, or not the search, the suggested system for a lot of YouTubers. So let's have a look. Me and the guy at the Bitcoin store, we were talking about this today, where I don't think YouTube is going to play ball with Canada. Okay, because it's going to be ruining their business model there in YouTube land, and I think YouTube makes more money than Canada. So thus having more lawyers. Okay, and all that sort of good stuff, and they may just tell Canada to take a hike. So let's have a look at that on Bill C11. If anything does happen to me on YouTube, you can go to my website. That's secondreadsbyandre.com, where I have all the listings of all the other places that I am, and you can join up with any of those to keep everything alive here on secondreadsbyandre.com. So, looking at the Bill C11 and the idea that I was, me and the gentleman at the Bitcoin store was talking about, uh, a lot of it is smoke and mirrors, and a lot of it is trying to keep the old cable networks alive in Canada. They're losing market share on the amount of people that are watching cable TV because of all these cable cutters. Okay, this is basically where it's coming from, is the old entity of the cable TV. They want more people watching their TV and not watching YouTube. And I think this is a last ditch effort for them to hang on to their past glories and have people come back and watch their baloney on their news channels instead of the new baloney on the YouTube channels. And usually the new baloney on the YouTube is much better than the old baloney on the old news channels on you're probably not aware of any of our Canadian channels, but I think this is holding true in many parts of the world where people are going to be going to other venues for their news and entertainment. Okay. And this is basically trying to keep alive for them. I think this is where it started. Plus, they don't, the Canadian government doesn't want many of the truths that are set on YouTube and many other places to reach the Canadian ears. So, okay. So, right off, we got the magician in the health of this whole situation. So, it means a lot of smoke and mirrors on the behalf of the Canadian government that they actually have power over YouTube. And I think YouTube is going to be giving the middle finger to the Canadian government because it's going to be ruining their business model. And those people are not going to be listening to the advice given to them by YouTube and many of the other social media companies that are out there saying, we're not going to do that. We're going to kind of play along with you until it's no longer good for us. And then here's some lawyers for you to talk to on your point of view. So Justin is going to be visited by a lot of lawyers. And the money situation on that, the old cable networks here in Canada will not see any good money coming from this situation, even though they thought they were going to corner the market and get everybody back to cable TV. And that's going to be failing. And then they're going to be having to try to compete on an even footing with YouTube and many of the other social media sites that are out there. And it's going to be failing horribly for them. And the people that are involved in this sort of thing are going to be confused for many years on how to do this. Okay. And we're going to see the end of many of the old cable networks here in Canada. And I think that's going to be true around the world as we go further into the future with that situation. There's a lot of companies that do not like change. And this is a good indicator on, or a good view of what it looks like on the outside looking in when we're watching the old cable networks trying to grasp onto what they used to hold dear and true and made all their money. Okay, so that is going to be failing. Okay, thank you for that question. Bitfinex exchange, and this is the other thing we were talking about at the Bitcoin store. Now, the original question was, is Bitfinex exchange safe? Now, I always say, never ever keep your money or cryptocurrencies on an exchange. There's two types of exchanges. There's ones that are going to be taken out by hackers and ones that have been taken out by hackers. Okay, there's no one safe place to keep your cryptocurrencies except for in a Trezor wallet or other cold wallet that you can purchase. Okay, and later on I'll give you the link for that. But overall, I think Bitfinex is it safe? Well, let's just have a quick look at the cards. It's safe enough, but still, I wouldn't trust any exchange for long term. Only for short term, if you're buying the cryptocurrencies from them, or you're doing some type of trade, if you're into that. If you're just using it for storing your cryptocurrencies, I don't want to hear no more horror stories of people losing all their cryptocurrencies because it was hacked. And I don't want to hear the excuse, oh, Andre, you didn't tell us. I'm going to tell you now, never ever keep your cryptocurrencies on an exchange for any length period of time unless you're doing something with it. Period. So it's okay to do the day-to-day transactions on the Bitfinex exchange. There's only going to be 4 or 5 exchanges that are going to be the good ones, according to the governments of the world. And I think in that time period, all those are going to be changing into something new. Then the government's going to have to run around with their hair on fire and trying to control those. Okay, this is just the government trying to control a small amount of crypto exchanges. And then you got hackers and all that sort of thing. So it's safe for transactions mostly, but I wouldn't keep my cryptocurrencies on there long term. Okay, thank you for that question. Will MITX Morpheus crypto reach $1 US or more in the next 6 to 12 months? Okay. Will it reach that dollar that he's always asking? Dilly's always asking about. There are certain cryptocurrencies. Will it get to that dollar? It's another no. We got the magician. So a lot of everything that's going on with this cryptocurrency seems to be a lot of smoke and mirrors. It's hocus pocus. It's a lot of deception going on with this one. It's telling you all the great things that they will do someday, but never actually ever get around to it. And we got the Wheel of Fortune, but it's reversed. So I'm not quite sure of what Morpheus is exactly, but everything that they're promised, it's just another card telling me that they're promising the moon and they're only going to give you a little pebble, okay, of everything. So I'd be very skeptical of this one going forward. Will it last that 6 to 12 months? I just have this feeling that it's going to be a short-lived one that probably won't last. It might get past that 6 to 12 months, but I don't see it lasting beyond a year or two from now. Many of these projects, they start off strong and they got all the sparkles and stuff, but after a while, it loses its sparkle and people just move on to other things. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question, Dilly. I had plans to buy Twitter when it dropped under $30, but wondering if the other investments I was considering are better options. If you're waiting for a quick return on that Twitter money, it's going to take some time. It has to play out, and now it's become political. It's going to take even longer to resolve itself. Will it do well in the future? Go back. Oh. Is this related to the other question?
Same person.
Oh, it's the same person. Okay. We'll do all around reading on Twitter and then his other stuff. It's not going to be getting back to the Twitter thing. I think it was a wise idea to hold off on it if you're hoping for a quick return, because this Twitter scenario is going to take much longer. Elon will win. It's just going to take a lot longer than people had anticipated. The other ideas that you had are probably much better. Yeah, we got two aces, meaning that that is probably the better of the two ideas that you've had. Okay, what was the other thing? Sorry, I didn't see you change. Clarify this for retirement accounts so I don't put crypto in them. It'd be other stocks. Okay, yeah. For retirement, always look for the things that you think are going to be lasting the longest, depending on your age. And we don't want to get into that here, but depending on how close you are to retirement, you always want to find the smallest percentage back. Okay, this is basic thinking for retirement planning. When you're younger, you take something that's bigger, like 12 to 15%, okay, annually. And when you get middle age, about 8 to 9%. And then when you get closer to retirement age, 7 to 3%. So when you talk to your actual financial advisor, they're going to be doing that depending on your age. And there's a calculation that they'll put you through on your age and your risk tolerance and all that sort of thing when you're sitting there in the bank or the financial place. And they're going to, if you're younger, the more risk you can hold out for. Okay. When you get middle age, it's going to get a little less. And then when you get really close to retirement, it's going to be 2 to 3% returns. Okay. So they'll change your own personal retirement plan with that in mind. Okay. So that is very correct, because you don't want to be trying to do something major when you're very close to retirement. Okay. You want to do that when you're much younger, the higher risk, because you have more time to work. Okay. And weather the ups and downs. When you get closer to retirement, it's 2 to 3%. So you don't want to, okay, I'm retiring today, I'm going to cash everything out, and the whole market went, and then you have to work another 20 years or whatever to gain the amount of money that you lost. So always go with your financial advisor. Twitter may not be a good decision. Maybe things that would last, like I have stocks in gold and oil and that sort of thing, Canadian oil companies and stuff like that. And the banking, I'm a little shaky on myself, but ask your financial advisor on other things to invest in. I think the other things that you had in mind are probably the best ones for your scenario. Okay, but always check with your financial advisor. Thank you.
Super chat.
Thank you.
Here's a question.
Why is Safemoon up 5,000% now? Crazy. Okay, that's a good question. It's kind of a cryptocurrency everybody was poo-pooing about, like Beam Cash. We were talking about, I think you're the gentleman that was asking about Beam Cash the other day. It was a good cryptocurrency when it was out. Now everybody's like, who? But let's have a look at Safemoon. They probably made some type of announcement behind the scenes. This is what I'm already picking up on, that only a certain amount of people heard about it. Or if you weren't paying close attention, everybody heard about it and dove in. That's probably what happened. But let's just have a look at the cards. It's reaffirming what I said. So there was some type of announcement that they made, something that they did behind the scenes that only a certain amount of people knew about it. And the people that heard that pumped a bunch of money into the system at that moment in time. Buy the rumor, sell the news. And I think that was what was going on with this one in the last little while. They heard a rumor, pumped a bunch of money in. So within the couple of days, you'll hear the story. Okay. Yes. Then they'll probably sell very quickly after that. Okay. That's basically what I'm picking up on that one. Okay. Thank you for that question. And thank you for the super chat. Any good weeks for BTC in July? It's good now. It's a good time to buy. Me and the wife bought some today. So you have to remember, I think about cryptocurrencies a little different than the average person. I think of it in the long term, the long game. I'm not here for the short term, get rich overnight schemes and all that baloney. Okay, I will think of it in the long term. In the long term, BTC will be always king. It will win out over most other cryptocurrencies that are out there. There's many cryptocurrencies that come and go. BTC will stand the test of time. Okay, this is why I promote it more than any other cryptocurrency, because it is the king of cryptos. Okay, when Bitcoin is low, rub our hands together and go, it's time to buy. And when it goes up, we haven't done this yet. When it goes up, this is time to get a little cream off the top. Pay some bills, do all kinds of stuff if you choose to. But right now, it's a great time for Bitcoin. When we'll go back to Warren Buffett. When everybody's greedy, be afraid. And that's usually an indicator it's time to take a little off the top. Get some of that cream off the top, buy some stuff, and keep the majority of your holdings in that Bitcoin. When everybody is afraid, like they are now, running around with their hair on fire and doing all kinds of silly things, this is the time to be greedy. Okay? So this week, well, it's not July yet, it's tomorrow. I don't foreseeing it really jumping up a lot in July. So the whole month of July is a good time for BTC, if you understand what I'm saying. This is the time to get greedy. Buy as much as at your level down for that you can. No, of course not. You do what you want to do. But me and the wife are going to get some more BTC when it's low. Okay? So the whole month of July is a great time for BTC. Okay? Hopefully that clears up that question for you. Okay? Thank you, Bob Job. Will Edgeware crypto reach 50 cents US or more in the next 6 to 12 months? That Dilly Dilly, he's always bringing things that I've never heard of, which is good. Means we can look at it with the cards. Will we get a yes for Dilly Dilly? I don't think we've had one yes. I think that was last show. For Dilly Dilly on his question. Let's see if we got another yes. Will it reach 50 cents US or more in the next 6 months? Over 6 to 12 months. The answer to that is unfortunately no. Just because of everything going on right now, everybody's attention is on Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, that sort of thing. Will it last? That's 5 to 10 years, which is very important. I think it's going to be one of the bigger cryptocurrencies of its type. Okay, there's now different types of cryptocurrency platforms that are out there, and it's going to be one of the bigger ones that's out there of its genre. Okay, so going forward, yes, it's going to be lasting that 5 to 10 year period. They got the goods. They're going to survive everything that's going on. They're just not ready for that 50 cents yet. Okay, thank you for that, Dilly Dilly. Marlon, what would be better to buy? Matic or Cardano? Get both. Especially with the sale going on. July is going to be a good time to buy crypto. But that's a fair question. I think Matic is going to be a little bit better to buy in the next little while over top of Cardano. I'll just show you the card. Okay, that's a card of a little nefarious things going on behind the scenes. I don't think it's from Cardano themselves. It's because I think the head guy is doing a discussion with regulators and all that right now. And that's going to be revealing some things about Cardano in the next little while that need fixing. And there's some things going against Cardano, not Cardano itself. I think they're going to be trying to do some things with Cardano in the next couple, and it's going to be felt for the next couple of years, where Matic is kind of being left alone. So I think Matic is the win over Cardano, but not by much. Okay, thank you, Marlon. Will I make money on my Bitcoins? If you have Bitcoins, oh yeah, you will. I wish I had, well, I do have Bitcoins.
It's not many.
Just not many. Depending on how many you have. Don't say it here. just for safety. That's all. If you have a little bit, even a little bit of Bitcoin, you're going to be making money. You just have to be patient with it. Okay? We bought our Bitcoins back when it was about $600, almost $700 Canadian each. And we just sat on it. We're patient. That was back in 2016. That was our first Bitcoins. And we've still been sitting on them since. Do you think we've made some money since then? Today, Bitcoin or Bitcoins are 24,000 Canadian today. I think we did okay. So you have to think of it in those terms. Okay, everybody wants that quick buck. Cryptocurrencies is not that way, really. It can be if you get really, really, really lucky. But usually it's the long term, being patient, not relying too heavily on that situation that wins the day. Okay? So if you have some Bitcoin, just sit on it. Okay? Wait a couple years. If you don't need it right now, think of it as a retirement situation for yourselves. Okay? Stop doing this quick turnaround baloney. Unless you're a trader or you're very business minded and you know how to do all the things like Marlon does, not everybody can do that. For the average person, just buy it, sit on it, do other things. That's all. And if you have Bitcoins, you'll be just fine. Okay? Thank you for that question. Grids versus drip. Which one do you think is the better option? Drips I've never heard of. A couple shows ago, somebody called me a drip because they missed it. Never mind. Drip. Okay, let's just have a look at that. Which is the better option? Drips? Dips? Or drips? Not dips. Drips is the better of the two overall. And it's probably the better one of the two just for what it does. Over top of the grid. Oh, it's grids. Can't read today. So drip for the win. Okay, thank you for that. Hi, Andre. Any idea of the top price this year for Doge and Shiba Inu? Jeez. Doge. We were talking about those two today. When we get our crypto, it's like a party. We sit down, have some coffee, and talk with the people. So it's a good time. Doge price. Will it go up? I don't know the exact numbers. I think it's going to be fine. I think a lot of people are losing interest in it as a cryptocurrency overall. I think Shiba Inu will win out over that over Doge overall because they're putting things in place to make it worth more than Doge. Doge doesn't have a burning mechanism. You have to remember how Doge works. Doge, they just keep printing coins every day, like 10,000, 100,000 coins every day. So it's hard for it to really get traction in the market. That's why it was so low for so long until somebody tweeted about it. And then the price went up because of that. Shiba Inu is a different animal altogether. I think Shiba Inu's got a lot of things going for it and probably will beat out Doge overall because it has a burning mechanism. So you're not pumping trillions of coins into the market every day, making it hard for it to really gain any traction in price. It's like Bitcoin. There'll only ever be 21 million coins, and that's its scarcity model. And when it gets halved approximately every 4 years, it gets more value. And then you have the basic supply and demand. So if nobody wants Dogecoin, the price is not going to go up. Okay? But people want Bitcoin, so the price is going to go up. Price, I see about $3 for Doge in the next little while. Oh, we've already gone on to the next question.
Sorry.
Okay, so Doge will be fine. It'll be about $2 to $3 in the year, and Shiba Inu will get to 0.0001 in the next little while. Okay, thank you for that. The Dutch farmer protest against the government taking their farms and lives. Things are heating up over here? Oh, kind of like what we have here in Canada, which is tomorrow when our Canadian farmers go to Ottawa. I'm already seeing that the Dutch farmer, it's going to be a long, drawn out procedure for the Dutch farmers to get what they want. Whenever you're dealing with government, it's always this long, drawn out, stupid thing. Because people in power always want to stay in power. They want to try to have control over every aspect of our lives. Okay? And that's basically what the governments around the world are trying to do. And once they have control over your food, they have control over you. But this happened once or a couple times in history. Look at France. way back when. Let them eat cake. And look at what happened to them. Just an idea, okay, of what can happen. So the cards are just saying that it's going to take a long time for them to resolve their issues, and it's going to get heated up much more, okay? And to the point, depending on how strong the Dutch government is, okay, they may have to bow down to the farmers overall, but it's going to take a long period of time for that to happen. As long as the Dutch farmers continuously doing the things that they're going to be doing very, very soon. And then you're going to see the Dutch government kind of tippy-toe around the issue and slowly give back control back to the farmers. But it's going to take a long time. We will win this fight against the evil that's around the world. It's just going to take a long time. Okay? Sorry about that, and thank you for the question.
Sorry, we got super chat.
Super chat, $5 USD. Please ask the cards if Idaho will have power outages next year on the Treasure Valley for several days. A lot of the things that you've been hearing are more scare tactics than anything. They're not going to do that to a populace that's armed. But they are trying to. Everybody's suspicion is correct that they were trying to cook something up behind the scenes. Okay, but I think it's going to be falling flat on its face because of the people themselves are getting to the point where they're going to take matters in their own hands. Okay, I think this getting rid of people's power thing is going to be very short-lived. Okay, and we will win this. Maybe a few days without power, but not for much longer than that because of reasons. Okay, thank you for that question. And we're at the hour. So thankful for everybody that's come out today. It's always a great pleasure doing readings for everybody. If I haven't gotten to your question today, make sure you put it in the chat after this has become a video, or the wife usually copies these down for the next show. And next show will be on Saturday. It's Thursday today, so Saturday at 10 a.m. Central and Sunday at 10 a.m. Central. And we do Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. Central. So make sure you put that on your calendar, and everything that we've missed will be part of the next show. Okay, so if you like a personal reading with me, make sure you go to readsbyandre.com, where all the information is there. If something happens to me here on YouTube or Twitch or wherever, make sure you go to secondreadsbyandre.com, where I have all the places that I have shows listed, and you can subscribe to those just in case. If you like to keep your cryptocurrencies in the best, safest place it can be, we also have a link to the Trezor affiliate website, where we get a little bit of money if you buy a Trezor, and that is the safest place where you can keep your cryptocurrencies in the long term, not on an exchange, but on some type of cold storage wallet. Okay, until Saturday, make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the future.